Hey Calien-Knights, welcome back to a Raikuzin Games video. In today's episode, we're going to be checking out a new unit called Yuki. So Yuki's a little bit special because you get her in World Boss, and basically you can change the skill set of how you want to build her. And with that, let's go through it. Okay, so behind me is the new patch 2.20. You can see that there's various new changes coming in. The most noteworthy one for this video is Yuki, and the other one I want to touch on is the new monthly login rewards. And then underneath all that is the bug fixes that's coming in. So if you want, you can pause the video and have a read of that. Okay, so this is the new monthly check-in reworked. You can see immediately on the fourth column, there's Nat 4 chips. In this picture, it's Thorn Spirits, but I'm going to assume that it's not going to be Thorn Spirits every month. But if it is, oh man, I really don't need 12 Thorn Spirits in a year, right? But yeah, I think it'll change. The second thing that comes out at me is the 2x Calien-Knights every fortnight and the 2x experience every other fortnight. So that's pretty cool. The second column there, you know, a bunch of scrolls, that's very nice. And then the fifth column is the one with the gems. I think it totals 375 gems. So that's a nice little reward just for signing in. And the thing that excites me the most is that LD scroll on day 24. So, you know, in 24 days, you'll see me with the download, guys. It's more like a mermaid. Okay, so this is Yuki. One of the guys in the server already posted a short video about her from his Chinese account. So if you haven't seen her already, I'm going to leave a link in the descriptions below. So go check it out and give him a like. The notable thing about Yuki is you're going to obtain her through doing World Boss Thanatos. It's going to give you tokens, and you're going to exchange those tokens for Yuki herself. Now, the coolest thing about Yuki, her skills are interchangeable. You can feed her units that you own to change her skill sets, and also her faction. I think that makes her really cool because it just makes her customizable. But the downfall is she's only locked to PVE. But even with that in mind, I think she's just going to be so fun to use in various parts of the game. So I'm really looking forward to using her in my account. Alright, so given all that, how would you build it? There's an array of combinations that you can use, right? There's so many monsters out there. And basically I was on stream saying, look, a lot of people probably would not feed their Nat 5. So I'm going to lock this video with no Nat 5s, yeah? Unless you're a whale. With whales you can do whatever you want, but for the majority of the community, they'll probably be looking at feeding their Nat 4s and under. So I was on stream and then Far comes, he's like, dude, have you seen Spider's S2? And I was like, is he talking about Spider Queen? And then he's like, no, like the 1-star spider. So I checked it out, and it was this skill, right? With max skill, it becomes 100% counter as a passive on skill 2, so you don't even need to activate it. And then the other skill he was saying was Holy Swordsman's skill 1. Ignore defense and has a 50% chance to go again. Pretty cool. I was like, and I was thinking, was there a unit that caps how much damage you can take? And in my mind I was like, oh, maybe I'm thinking of a buff instead. Like maybe I'm thinking of Panda. He's like, yeah, there's Minotaur. And I was like, oh my god, this guy's brain is like a library. Like a Google search. So I checked out Minotaur's S3, and it's this one, right? At max skill, it's 100% chance to prevent damage from exceeding 15% of own max HP when being attacked. So I was like, okay, so that is a skill. Now imagine that with the Spider's S2 with Holy Swordsman S1 on Drain Runes, alright? So here's the maths. So let's say your HP for the unit is 25,000. You want to keep it as low as possible because Minotaur's passive is going to prevent it from taking too much damage. So you're okay to play around with it. And let's say your S1 Since we don't know what the base stats of Yuki is, I'm going to assume maybe it's a nat 3 or nat 4. And let's say you're a mid gamer and you can only deal 15k damage on S1. Once you progress, you'll probably start doing around 20k, but let's just say 15. The max damage that you can take on 25,000 HP and Mentor's passive at 15% is 3.75k. Okay, so 3.75. And then when they hit you, you with 100% chance counter back with ignore defense for 15k. Yeah, and because you're equipped with drain runes, you're going to heal back 30% of the damage dealt, and 30% of 15. Alright guys, I made a mistake. I only realized it while I was editing this. Drain is actually 35% and not 30, which means you're going to be healing a lot more. So for most PVE content, this is going to help you a lot because basically your unit's going to be kind of immortal. You know, you might die because of things like dots and things like that. Maybe even multi-hit. I don't know how multi-hit works with Mentor's passive. You might have to test it out. So that one is the immortal build brought to you by Fwa and myself. So the question after that was, what other builds would help a lot of people out there for PvE content? Because Yuki's locked to PvE only, remember? My first thought was Medusa, but like I said before, a lot of people won't be willing to sacrifice their Medusa, which they can use everywhere, for Yuki, which they can only use in PvE. And plus we're trying to go with nat 4s and under as well. So we kicked out Medusa. But the next one that came to my mind was Demonic Swordsman. So Demonic Swordsman's S3 is probably one of the coolest S3s for PvE in my opinion. He gives you so much turn advantage that it actually feels almost unfair. So basically at max skill, every time he hits with a critical hit, your team gets a 20% energy boost, and all of his skills are multi-hits. And then if you think about him on Berserk, if he procs one Berserk proc, that's 80% energy boost for your entire team. So every time he gets an extra turn, your entire team gets an extra turn, and I think that's just so powerful in Colossus, Leviathan, Spire, and Vapor Dreamlands. So then we started thinking about what would be really cool S2. Obviously if you're playing this passive, you need something with multi-hits or an AoE, and I wanted something with crowd control, so stun, freeze, petrify. The best one I could find for a nat 4 was Lumi. With Lumi, she's actually got 2 freeze skills on the second slot. The first one is attack 4 times at random and gives them a slow debuff. If an enemy is hit multiple times by the skill, it freezes them for 1 turn. I'm pretty sure that is meant to say enemy and not ally. Skill 2B is an AoE, which has a 50% chance to freeze if you max skill it. So then which one to choose? If you're going to bring it into Leviathan, you need multi-hitters, so which means you might want to bring this one instead. But the problem with this one is it has a little bit less consistency as you bring it on waves that has more units, because you're only hitting 4 times and you need it to land more than once. So Spire and Vapor Dreamlands and even the waves in Colossus Hydra become less effective if you have this skill, whereas this skill becomes a lot more effective on waves that has a lot of units. So I'm going to say for universal use, this is probably the skill to go with, but if you really want to bring it to Leviathan, you should probably choose this one. And because, you know, whether you're hitting 4 times or whether you're hitting an AoE to multiple targets, if you crit on each of them, you're going to get a 20% energy boost for your team for each crit that you land. So if there's 3 enemies, you're going to get 60%, if there's 4 enemies, you're going to get 80%, and etc, etc. So then what about skill 1? So I was looking for a multi-hit skill for skill 1, and then Fwa goes, so wouldn't that mean the best skill would be Monk? And I was like, Monk? I haven't even seen that skill. Let's check it out. So we looked at it, and basically this is his skill. Attack an enemy 2 times, and then in the next attack, attack all enemies. So you get 2 hits, which is going to stack with a 40%. And then you get to hit everyone else, and 20% times X number of enemies. Like what that could potentially mean is every time Yuki moves, your entire team is going to take a turn. But this is all on the premise that when it becomes released, they're going to allow Demonic Swordsman's passive to work together with AoE skills. I don't know if the coding is going to allow that, but if we go by logic and description, it should rightfully give you 20% energy boost every time you crit. So anyways, those were the things that we came up on stream. So if you can think of anything really cool or creative, leave it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button to support the channel. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that you're not missing out on any more of my future videos. But yeah, with that, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.